around, you can ask the question. Also, for all the media that's here, your credentials for games, for parking at the Superdome are in the back, as well as parking for the Rosenlaut are in the back. So make sure you pick those up today before you leave. Obviously, you'll need them for Saturday. Before I introduce Coach Toledo, I want to make you guys aware of a season initiative we're going to have. It partners Tulane football with the Tulane Cancer Center. And I'm going to introduce Melanie Cross, the communications manager for the Tulane Cancer Center, and she's going to give you the details about this new initiative. Thanks, Melanie.
Hi, good morning. Thanks so much for giving us some time to talk about the Green Dream Initiative. It's an exciting partnership, like Roger said, between Tulane Greenway Football and the Tulane Cancer Center's Pediatric Oncology Patient Relief Fund. And it started with a labor of love from one of our Tulane football moms. Her name is Maggie Edwards. She's the mom of junior long snapper John Edwards, and she's also a breast cancer survivor. And she shared with us her story of how her son was so instrumental in her journey towards getting well. And what she wanted to do was help raise money for kids with cancer, but also, being the Tulane Greenway fanatic that she is, combine that with inspiring the football team to take ownership of this as well. And so she is personally pledging throughout this 2011 football season $10 for every Tulane Greenway touchdown, $5 for every field goal, and $10 for every interception this season as a donation, a personal donation to our Pediatric Oncology Patient Relief Fund. She's going to carry a poster with her to the home games, and it's going to display a running total of what her pledges are adding up to date. And she's also going to bring a football to all the home games. She's going to write that total on the football and pass it down the sideline so that the football players know that what they're doing on the field is equating to assistance for kids fighting cancer. And to kick this off, last week we were thrilled when a large number of our Green Wave players visited Tulane Hospital for Children. They interacted with the kids there, they signed autographs, they handed out pom-poms and hats and posters. The kids were thrilled. The players, I think, enjoyed it. We certainly enjoyed having them there. And so I want to introduce to you Dr. Tammy Singleton. She's the head of our section of Pediatric Oncology and Hematology at Tulane. She's going to tell you a little more about what these funds are going to mean to the families of our cancer patients.
Thanks again so much for having us here today. Each year in the state of Louisiana, approximately 160 to 175 children in our state are diagnosed with cancer. Overwhelmingly, most of those children are treated here in the city of New Orleans and here at our Tulane Medical Center, Tulane Hospital for Children. And we are absolutely thrilled to have this partnership here in our Tulane family. To give you an example of some of the things that we use funds for, we have, just this morning, I did a bone marrow spinal tap on 2 small cancer patients, and we actually need to help some of those families because they have to travel back and forth with gas, and it's very expensive, obviously, as we all know, and to have to come so frequently to spend weeks on end in the hospital can be a huge burden on some of the families. And so these funds help to go to relieve some of the families of those kinds of needs. I actually sometimes even go into our own pockets. We have small children's relief funds to sometimes bring parents for children who are sometimes unfortunately not doing very well and very suddenly have to come into the medical center. So we are very thrilled to have this partnership and this initiative happen, and I think it's a wonderful thing to serve the children here in New Orleans who have cancer, and thank you so much. Do you have any questions?
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And now I'd like to introduce the head coach of the Green Wave in his 5th season, Bob Toledo.
How great was that, huh? That's neat. And our kids went down there last week, and what a great experience. You know, you go to something like that, and normally you do it like for bowl games and so on and so forth, but just a real tribute to our players to go down there and express their interest and see what was going on. And then for Mrs. Edwards to do what she's going to do, giving money for scoring touchdowns and field goals. I hope she goes broke, but Anyway, all kidding aside, it's a great cause, and you know, I hope she does have to put in a lot of money. I hope we score a lot of points, and I hope it really helps that cause. So, again, let's get on with football. You know, I know all of you are looking forward to college football, and believe me, no one more so than me. I'm anxious to get going with the season. I'm anxious to see the progress that we've made as a football program. So I, for one, am really looking forward to it. We've had a very productive fall football camp. Obviously, we're tired of hitting each other, just like every other team in the country is. And, you know, we feel that we're ready to play at this point. You know, we can't wait for Saturday, and I hope the fans and the boosters and the people feel the same way as we do. We've obviously feel that we've recruited well the last few years. We've developed a lot of quality depth at numerous positions. There's still some positions that we have to continue to work at, but I feel very good about where we are as a football program. Special team-wise, I hired John Henrik in the off-season, and he's done a great job with what we consider our Achilles heel. We've had very poor special teams the last few years, but John has worked really hard with the football team to improve and get better. We feel that we have more athletes, and that in itself should help us as a special team. Our long snapper returns, John Edwards, whose mom is going to contribute, and hopefully more people will, to the cause. He's done a great job. He'll also be one of our captains for this first game as well. And we also have our punter, Jonathan Ginsberg, returning. He was a true freshman last year. He's got a great leg. He just has to become more consistent in punting the football. And then Cairo Santos, who's back here today, and he'll be around to answer any questions you might have, is our kicker. Ryan Rome also kicks, a young man from Destrehan, and Ryan's going to also assume the duties of holding for extra points and field goals. Cairo wanted him to do that. And of course, I get a little nervous when the backup holder's holding for PATs and field goals. You know, make sure he holds it good for you, Cairo, all right? But anyway, all kidding aside, Cairo's had a great camp. He's gotten stronger. He went off to Brazil this summer, kicked between two pineapple trees or whatever he was doing, he said. But anyway, all kidding aside, he did a lot of kicking back home, and he's gotten a lot stronger and done a nice job in camp. As far as returners, our punt returner is going to be Derek Strozier. He's a young man that started it last year and then got injured, and we never really got a grip on that thing, but right now he's the returner, and he's done a nice job. Our kickoff return people will be two freshmen from the New Orleans area. Robert Kelly will be one of the returners, and of course he's out of Old Perry Walker, and Dante Butler from Brother Martin will be the other one. So one of them hopefully will start the season. New Orleans product carrying the football on our first kickoff return. Defensively, Steve Standard returns as our coordinator. After 3 years, we feel we've got very good continuity there. Our players understand the system. They've helped to teach some of the younger guys what to do, so it's been really good for us. Obviously, we got to get better at stopping the run. You know, we had a great pass defense, one of the top teams in the country passing-wise, but one of the reasons, too, is because we didn't stop the run very well. So we've got to stop the run, and we've got to give up less explosive plays. They cost us some football games last year. We feel we got a really good front seven. We got a lot of depth in the front seven, probably more depth than we've ever had. We're stronger than we've ever had. We're more athletic than we've ever been. So we feel good about that. Offensively, I've hired Ricky Bussell to be the quarterback coach from Louisiana Lafayette, and you all know about Ricky. He was there for 9 years and coached at Virginia Tech. He's got a lot of experience and knowledge. And Greg Davis will be the pass game coordinator, and Mark Hudson will be the run game coordinator, and I will once again assume the duties of calling plays. I haven't done it for the last couple of years, and if nothing else, it's energized me. You know, when you get into coaching, you get in it because you love to coach. So, you know, I'm helping Ricky a little bit with the quarterbacks and coaching some other positions, but I'm also game planning and scheming, and then I'm calling plays, and that's what I love to do. So I'm back doing what I really want to do. We are going to run a pro spread offense. A lot of people ask me what the change is. You know, we will no longer just be in the shotgun and running a spread. We will run a pro spread, very similar to the New Orleans Saints, okay? I wish we were as effective as they are sometimes, but also kind of like Boise State. You know, you all see Boise State running in 3 or 4 guys on every play. We'll do a lot of substitution, situational type things, and we'll be under center. We'll be in the shotgun. We'll do multiple groupings and have multiple formations, and try to get more people involved in the offense. Obviously, we need more explosive plays on offense, as our defense needs to eliminate them. We need to score more points, and we got to be better in the red zone. And those things that we have addressed, and hopefully will improve this year on. As far as the upcoming game, Mike Lucas has done a nice job at Southeastern Louisiana. Like myself, he started 5 years ago, and he's tried to build that program. The last 2 times we played him, the first game I've ever coached here was against them, and we won 35-27, real close football game. And then last year, the first game of the season, we won 27-21. So they've given us everything we can handle. We've got to make sure we show up and are ready to play. It's the first game of the season. It's at home, and obviously we got to get off to a good start. As far as them, you know, they have a lot of new faces. You know, I know they got a good safety, they got a good quarterback, they got 2 good running backs, they've got 2 good receivers, but they got a lot of new faces. They got to transfer from Memphis. They got to transfer from Texas. They got to transfer from Ole Miss. They got some guys that are going to play that we're not that familiar with. So we have really kind of taken the approach. We're going to worry about schemes more so than personnel for this first game, and we're going to attack schemes and try to see what goes on from there. The captains for the season, Ryan Griffin is the offensive captain. Cedric Wilson will be our defensive captain. And as I mentioned, John Edwards will be the captain for this game, and the game captain will be Albert Williams. Okay. Injury-wise, Mark Edwards, unfortunately, is out for the season. Our first scrimmage at the Dome, he blew out his ACL and was operated on, so he'll be redshirted. And he had a lot of ability, a lot of potential, and we're going to miss him. Out for this game, but may return before the season's over, Casey Blum with an Achilles surgery. Trying to recover from that. Cameron Dion, knee surgery. Dijon, he's recovering from that. And Josh Drum with foot surgery, and he's recovering from that. So I believe all 3 of them will be back by the end of the season. Okay. As far as doubtful for this game, Taylor Eccles still has a concussion and is not going to probably be able to play. Ray Ottman has a pinched nerve in his neck. He probably will not play. Dominic Robertson has a knee problem. Okay, and the one note that I don't enjoy doing is we have suspended Shane Dellery for the first game of the season. That's a violation that happened in the spring, so it's an athletic department policy. So he'll miss the first game, but he's having a great camp. He's learned from his mistake, and he'll do well. Anyway, welcome to Southern California. Okay. I tell you what, it's I feel like I'm back home again. I can't breathe, okay? But anyway, any questions?
Speaking of that, the air quality today, and the charges to walk in.
Yeah, it is.
Can you put a comment on what practice?
Well, obviously, you know, we get headaches already, and we're having a hard time breathing. We've got 3 guys that got asthma problems, so we've been trying to look for some places. But the Dome is now painting it for our game Saturday, so we can't get in the Dome, or we can't get in any of the facilities. So we're going to have to go out and try to maybe reduce the amount of time that we're out there, and maybe not run around as hard. But it's definitely a problem. Yesterday it was a problem, but as we went out there, the wind came up like the Santa Ana winds in California and blew that smog away. So hopefully that'll happen today.
It's a little bit easier since aren't there more walkthroughs today, or?
Well, they're not walkthroughs. We're still only Tuesday, but well, we just have to tone it down just a little bit. You know, we'll have to not run them as hard, but you know, we're going to practice. Any other questions? You have a microphone there. Yes. Those are the only 3 that have problems that we're keeping an eye on. But outside of that, the rest of the guys are okay. Yes. Well, you know, we did a lot of things last year offensively that we're still continuing to do. Let's just say that we'll probably be a little more under center and a little less in the shotgun, and we'll be a little bit more with 2 backs as opposed to just 1 back. So my thing is to utilize players. I think all of them have special talents, and part of coaching is doing what players do best. So one of the things I'll do is I'll have little packages for certain players and try to utilize their talents, and as the season goes on, we'll expand, you know, the packages. Well, as you already mentioned, the two running backs, you know, Kelly and Butler. I'd say LeBeau at wide receiver is a guy. Two other freshmen that aren't from this area, Xavier Rush and Justin Shackelford, will also see playing time on offense. Defensively, Matthew Bailey out of Carr. He's a possible starter, and if not, he'll play quite a bit. Sam Schofield at strong safety may have an opportunity to get in a little bit. Corey Redwine, defensive tackle. He's coming off an ankle injury, but he's starting to practice. And then Michael Pierce. You know, Michael Pierce's dad played running back here. He's a defensive end, a lot bigger than his dad. He's about 6'3", 280, and runs really well. So he'll see time this year as well. So those are the incoming freshmen that we think will have an impact this year.
With Taylor out, you're going to play Kyle Davis?
Yes, Kyle Davis will be the starting strong safety because Taylor Eccles is out, and then that's where Sam Schofield comes in. He's backing up Kyle.
And you could speak a little bit about what Kyle versus, I know he's very athletic. How is he in terms of practice? Do you have any sort of how much head on him and that kind of thing?
Well, you know, Kyle was a freshman last year, came to us from San Antonio, and you know, played as a true freshman, so that shows you about his athleticism. He's worked extremely hard in the off season and has done a nice job. And again, we feel that he's a very capable player. He was pushing Eccles as it was for a starting position, and then it gives Sam Schofield, you know, a young man out of St. Thomas More, a chance to play as well. And he's had more interceptions in fall camp than our team had all year. So I mean, he's a ball hawk, and he's a good tackler, and he's a guy that's always around the football. So I see him playing in the very near future.
Yeah, speaking of guys who sort of risen up the ranks and that, Carlos Wilson is one that, I mean, he was one that was very kind of buried on the depth chart at camp began, and
Right.
he just kept catching passes.
Yeah, again, Carlos Wilson is a walk-on player from Louisiana, and you know, a lot of people were recruiting him as a running back coming out of high school. We were too, and then he hurt his ankle and didn't get a scholarship, but decided to come here anyway. And now he's moving up the rank, and before long, he's going to get a scholarship here at Tulane. He is at least a backup at the flanker and slot position. He will be on special teams. He will make some plays Saturday in the game. He's a good football player.
And his personality.
Yeah, he's a great kid. He's got great personality, a lot of charisma, very bright guy. I mean, to get in Tulane, you've got to be pretty bright. So he's a sharp kid, and you'll hear about him in the future, and he will get a scholarship here at Tulane.
Coach, I'm looking at the schedule, the Conference USA schedule, on non-conference games, Southeastern, Duke, Syracuse, and Hawaii. Based upon the fact you have 17 stars returning, as well as you're saying you have more depth and more quality, what are your expectations at the end of the season? Do you expect to be a bowl game? How do you think you're going to do in the conference? Can you elaborate on that, please?
Sure. You didn't mention Army, I don't believe either, but we got a heck of a non-league schedule, and we got a great home schedule too. We play two of the top teams in the Western Division at home, and that's Tulsa in our second game, and then we play Houston on a Thursday night on TV. So we got a great schedule. It is 13 games without a bye. When I approved the schedule with our athletic director, Rick Dixon, I didn't realize now you needed 7 wins to get to a bowl, but as I said, bring them on, let's play, see what happens. I feel much more comfortable this year than at any time during my time here. All these players that are on this football team are players we recruited to these systems. We have developed quality depth at a lot of positions. I think we've had some really good recruiting years. We've got more kids from Louisiana than we've ever had, more guys playing from Louisiana than we ever had. And you know, I think the one thing that we've got to do is we've got to be smart in how we practice. We are going to come back on Sunday and have a light workout on Sunday and show video, and we're going to give them Monday off like a lot of people do, and hopefully that'll give them a chance to recover a little bit more as well. So one of the things is just the practice routine, and then what we do at practice. There's some drills, obviously, we're not going to do as many of in the future because they're physical type things that possibly can get you hurt, and we don't need anybody getting hurt at this point. So I feel good about it, and obviously our goal is to win a championship and go to a bowl game. And you know, I'll be perfectly honest with you, I'll be disappointed if we don't get to a bowl game this year. Right. Well, I think the thing about this offense, it's a tailback-oriented offense, and of course Albert Williams will start because Orleans had a toe problem, turf toe. But Orleans will play. How much he plays depends on what he does. But those other guys are going to play too because I'm going to do some things substitutional-wise. I think we got some guys that can make some plays. You know, Ryan Grant obviously is a guy that can make some plays. He's up for the Blitnikoff Award. I think Joe Kemp has come on pretty good. I think the two freshman wide receivers at split end, Rush and Shackelford, got a lot of talent. And then Brandon LeBeau, you know, Jeremy Williams was out here yesterday, who played for us a couple years ago, and he reminds me of Jeremy. And I had Jeremy talk to him and say hi, and told him, hey, you got to be like this guy. And I think he's a big-time player. We've got Matt Marfisi at tight end. He's a guy that we redshirted last year, 6'6". He's almost 260 right now. He's a good-looking athlete. So, you know, you look at the wide receivers, the running backs, a couple of those tight ends, and then you couple it with the fact that we've got an outstanding quarterback in Ryan Griffin. I think we've got some weapons to take advantage of. And the last thing I want to say is, you know, like the Bill Walsh teams, the West Coast teams, we will run the ball and then try to set up play-action passes to hit the home run, so to speak.
Tell me about the philosophy of getting down field more often this year. How much do you think the team really squeezed the box on you last year? Even if you don't complete some of those passes, how important is it to at least get the opposition to respect it?
Well, I think you're right on it. I think the big thing is you've got to try to threaten deep. You've got to make them respect the field vertically. And I don't think we did a very good job of that last year. We were more of a nickel-dime type passing game and trying to make guys run after catch. And we didn't run very well after the catch, to be perfectly honest with you. But my philosophy is that we're going to run the ball. We're going to get people in the box, and then we're going to take advantage of single coverage, and we're going to go deep. So you'll see us take 4 or 5 shots at least deep during the course of a game. And again, I think if nothing else, it serves the purpose of you better back off on us, otherwise you're going to give up a big one, and then it helps for the rest of the game too.
Southeastern has a particular threat at receiver sitting on the last year, but I think it presents a challenge for the secondary where a lot of guys, not a lot of new faces necessarily, but a lot of them are playing and starting at new positions, and you know, you could sort of talk about that.
Well, you mentioned their receiver, who's a tight end. He's a hybrid guy. He's a tight end wide receiver, and then Collins. And they've got three people that caught almost 100 balls or whatever. But I mean, they've got a threat. They've got a quarterback who played about half the season and did a nice job. Plus, they got a transfer in from Ole Miss, I believe. We're not sure if he's going to play. But I think the big thing is our front seven is as good as it's ever been. Our secondary needs to develop. We need to be good there. We got a couple of guys that have some experience, but we're relatively young back there. We have talent. I mean, they're physically capable of doing it. But the pressure is going to be on them, and the pressure is going to be on our front seven to attack the quarterback and not give him time to throw the football.
Is that similar to kind of how you trained offense in 2008, early season offense?
Well, I think you'll see more of, but not quite the same of what I did my first year. My first 2 years, I really ran the offense. In the first year, Matt rushed for over 2,000 yards. We didn't feel we could throw the ball very well. We could throw the ball a lot better. So you'll see some of that. The next year, we had 17 season-ending injuries, so it didn't matter what plays I called. They weren't going to be very good. I'm not that good a coach, okay? So the next 2 years, we went to the spread, and I didn't call any plays. So I think we're getting back to a kind of a combination of what I did earlier and a combination of what I did at UCLA and some of the other places I've been as a head coach coordinator. So we're going to get back to doing what I know best. I want to be more involved. I want to enjoy it. I want to be able to create some more enthusiasm for the kids, and so that's why I'm doing it.
Especially, where is Orleans right now? Is it like 50%? Or you expect them to play on Saturday? What is this update right now?
Okay, Orleans Darkwa had a ligament problem in his big toe. We rested him quite a bit during camp. The last few days he's gotten a little bit of work and gotten a little bit of contact. He's not been tackled yet, but he said he's feeling a lot better. He's going to have to play with a little bit of pain. You know, I know he's not going to start already, but I'm not sure how much he's going to play. You know, he is going to play. How much remains to be seen.
Is it sort of like a turf toe, and who's your third guy? For some reason he gets in there and functioning the way he is.
All right, good question. Well, first of all, it is similar to a turf toe. It's a ligament on the outside of his toe, and his toe's kind of pulling in. They try to pull it back and let the ligament heal a little bit. The doctors probably tell you more about that than me, but you know, it's a nagging type injury, and so we've tried to rest him as much as we can, get him as healthy as we can. It's a long season, but obviously Albert Williams is going to be the starting tailback. We'll see Darkwa in there probably soon. Steve Barnett played for us last year till he pulled a ham and was doing good. He's going to play. Jamar Thomas, young man from Baton Rouge, you'll see him play, and he's a good receiver. He can block and do some things, and when we go with two backs in the backfield, he'll be in there. And then the two freshmen are both going to play. You know, we feel they're both capable of giving us some quality depth in play. So I would venture to say you're probably going to see all six of them in the game. I don't have enough footballs. That's my problem.
In the line has been, there's a lot of good experience this year on that line, and you do have this great stable of running backs, and whether I think there's some question whether the holes will be generated up front.
Well, I'm a big believer like kick returns. If you get a great kick returner, it makes your special teams good. Okay, I believe the same way offensively. When you get a great running back, they make your offensive line look good too. So hopefully our backs are good enough to make some plays on their own. But we do have a starter in Harris Howard that's going to start his fourth year at left guard. Joey Ray has not played a lot. He backed up Andrew Neerman at center, but he has started at center against LSU. He did play right guard against Alabama a few years ago, so he's got some experience. Eric has played 3 years now, redshirt one, but he's been playing time at right tackle. The right guard is a real question mark for us right now. Aluko is there, and of course Zach Morgan's coming off an ankle, but we think they're both competing pretty well. And then Pat Hussein is a freshman that played a little bit last year, so he's a sophomore eligibility-wise. He's got to come on a little bit, and we have to help him with certain things.
First, Leo, you've been here, haven't made a bowl yet, you're on your Tulane. Do you start to feel a little pressure that something's got to happen this year? We need to get to a bowl game here. We need to, get a little more exciting more on campus. Obviously, with a lot of freshmen from the Orleans area, you're getting, it seems like a turnaround here. You feel any pressure on yourself there to maybe get a little bit of a bowl this year?
Well, there's always pressure. Most of the pressure you put on yourself, but it's obvious. We've been here for 5 years now. We've been trying to lay a solid foundation for this football program, and I believe we've done that. And that's why I say that if we don't get to a bowl, I'll be disappointed. We have to stay healthy. We've got to play good. We've got to win some games. Last year we won 4 games. We very easily could have won 3 or 4 more. So I think with this football team, we've got a good chance to win 7 or more football games, which will get us in the bowl. Anybody else? The smog's getting to me. All right. Thank you very much.